What up, sports fans and fellow foodies? I'm Julie, and welcome to my kitchen, where each week I talk sports while whipping up culinary treats. This week, I am tackling the Bears stadium issue in something we're going to call the Stadium Split Corn Skillet. I was pretty hot a few weeks ago when Indiana had their little dog and pony show about Hammond getting the Bears. I was mad at the Bears. I was like, how did we get to this stage? Sorry, no offense to the people on the other side of the border, on the other side of the state line. I'm sure you have a lovely community that would welcome the Bears openly. People keep telling me I should be mad at the Illinois politicians, and I am. But I'm mad at the Bears. I'm mad at Kevin Warren. I'm mad at the whole situation as a Bears fan. So, what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit, as I have my corn going on my skillet already, we're going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons for each side. So, like I said, I was a little miffed. I know there are teams in the NFL that don't play in the state for which they are named. But I feel like the Chicago Bears should be in Illinois. I'm not one of those people that feels they have to be on the lakefront. I'm okay with them being in Arlington Heights, but they're the Chicago Bears, and they need to be in the state of Illinois, in my book. It's just my opinion. I grew up in Arlington Heights, and when I graduated Northwestern, my first job offer was actually as a sportscaster at WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. I turned it down because I wanted to be a small fish in a big pond, that is Chicago, versus the big fish in a small pond in Hammond. It just wasn't the right fit for me. And I feel like this isn't the right fit for the Bears. But with what Indiana is throwing at the Bears, it's pretty hard not to at least listen if you are the McCaskies and Kevin Warren and the Bears franchise. Like I said, this is an opinion matter. This is one where people, when I first got a little riled up on Twitter, people came down on me pretty fiercely. I think there are very divided sides on this. And I'm going to have some very divided corn here. So on one side of my skillet, I will represent Illinois, and on one side of my skillet, I will represent Indiana. Building in Illinois, and I'm going to throw out the lakefront. I don't think that's an issue. I don't think that's in the play right now. I think it's going to be Arlington Heights or Hammond. Arlington Heights represents redefining your legacy, building on what you already have here. If you move to Indiana, you're embracing something new and clean and fresh. So that's kind of how we're going to work with our corn here today. So I have 28 ounces of frozen corn in here. You can use canned corn, fresh corn, frozen corn. I'm going with frozen, partly because of what season we're in. And I've got a whole ton of butter in there, probably about a stick and a half. You don't have to go that crazy, but I mean, butter and corn. This is Midwest. This is Bears food right here. And then I've got a little splash of water in there just because I was using frozen corn, but it does add some liquid when the frozen corn is defrosted. So on my Indiana side, you have building from the ground up. You are starting fresh. You have tax subsidized stadium money. You are looking at $1 billion that Indiana is providing to the Bears through taxes. It's going to be a lease with the option to buy if you're the Bears. You are not going to own that stadium from the start, which you would in Illinois. But Indiana represents that clean, fresh, new start that has the potential financially to have a lot of upside for the Bears, even if you're building in kind of, I mean, let's be honest, it's not exactly as alluring as maybe something that's more developed, something more established, like what you have in Illinois. Like I said, I grew up in Arlington Heights. I grew up going to Arlington Park Racetrack, both versions, pre and post fire. I have a special soft spot in my heart for Arlington Heights. Went to high school in Arlington Heights at good old St. Viator. I love Chicago's northwest suburbs. Selfishly, if the Bears are in Arlington Heights, it's easier for me to get there from where I live now than it is to get to Chicago, or definitely a hell of a lot easier than it is for me to get from where I am now to Indiana. But that's just me. I'm not going to let that sway the rest of you. All right, Midwest. Love our corn here. We love that this has the same base. It's the same roster, just different home fields. We're building the same thing. The Bears are the corn. All right, so on my Indiana side here, over here, we got Indiana. This is gonna be your fresher side. It's gonna be hip and clean and fresh. So I've got a little bit of lemon juice that I'm gonna squeeze over on this side. Just a little pop. And then I got a little bit of chives that I'm gonna throw in here. Again, for some freshness. Fresh herbs, always a good thing. And I got a nice little dab of honey that I'm gonna drizzle in here. So this side is sweet. No offense to, Governor Pritzker and everybody on the Illinois side, but this side's sweeter, especially if you're the Bears and you don't want to spend all that money out of pocket. All right, so this side, oh, it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. So that's my Indiana side working over here. My Illinois side over here, a little bit more Chicagoan, a little more fatty. Let's call it what it is. We're gonna add some of our sour cream. Oh my gosh. It's probably a little bit more than I needed. I love this squeezable sour cream. It's so good for like baked potatoes and such. All right, so I got a creamy base working over here. And of course, I'm gonna add a little bit more dairy and fat. And I'm gonna add some shredded white cheddar. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Indiana, you're just too healthy for me. I'm just kidding. Like I said, I don't have anything against Indiana. It's more just, growing up a Bears fan and wanting them to stay here. But I understand the financial issues. I truly do. And if Arlington Heights and the state of Illinois can't work out the tax situation, I don't blame the Bears for looking elsewhere. You just got to figure out how you are redefining your legacy. All right, look at how gooey and delicious this is. I'm gonna throw in a little splash of lime. So we got the lemon on one side, we got the lime in the other. This one's gonna be a little bit more like a little street corn flavor to it. And then, because it's a tip of the cap to Chicago, even though I'm not talking about them building in Chicago, I got a little bit of jardiniere here. It's got a little kick, a little heat. Gonna throw in a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And make it a little more Chicagoan. So this side's gonna have the kick, which for somebody like me who doesn't deal with the spices as well, might be a little scary, but that cheese is gonna suck me in. All right, so we got our two sides here. They're different with the same base. The fan base is what's most important in all this. The fans were riding high after the playoffs and Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and all the feel good of this season, the good, better, best. Everybody was high on this team. And then the Bears blew everybody's enthusiasm to bits. Perfect timing, Bears. Really great. I have a feeling Kevin Warren might not survive this whole disaster. He was brought in to get this done. If you're the Bears and you spent $200 million to buy the land in Arlington Heights, why were you not ready to move forward? Why were you not ready to get this done? And whether it's the state of Illinois or the Bears or both, why was this not ready to roll in 2023 when you bought the land? Why hadn't you looked into the tax issues? Why weren't you ready to go sooner? So Indiana sees this stalemate over here and says, we're just gonna swoop on in. We got all this ready to roll out. We're bringing our red carpet to you. At least one state got their act together pretty quickly. All right, so here's my divide. I'm gonna put a little paprika down the middle just to give it some separation. But again, what you got going here, you got this little bubbly, delightful smelling dish. Either way you look at it, it's still the Bears. As long as the Bears are playing and we're all Bears fans, how much does it matter where they're playing? I was a little salty about it. I've gotten over it. Speaking of which, salt. We're gonna give a little salt to each side. We're gonna give a little smash of pepper here. It smells good. It looks good. I hope whatever the Bears decide to do, I hope we settle this stadium debate pretty soon, and I hope it's a winner. Any way you look at it for Bears fans. I'm Julie. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.